Hi, I'm Alex, I'm 16 and I'm FTM transgender, and I'm going to talk about blockers or puberty blockers. So puberty blockers are injections that trans people, well, not all trans people take, and they're generally seen as just things to just pause puberty, so they reduce the amounts of sex hormones in your system, and they're generally seen as quite safe up to 18 as long as you're monitored, so I have to have regular bone density scans. But since when you're trans, or when you think you might be trans, going through the possibility of going through puberty is very, very scary because of dysphoria. So yeah, the idea is just to pause it and wait and see. In the UK, the way to get to blockers via the NHS is to get through the Tavistock, which is the Young Person's Gender Identity Clinic. So to be referred to them, you go through CAMS, your GP, or self-refer. And I got into the Tavistock through my GP and CAMS, and my mum tried lots of ways to make sure I got in. So I started about 3 years ago, so obviously the waiting times are much longer now, but it took me about 4 to 5 months to get into the Tavistock, and they require a 6-month assessment period of 4 to 6 sessions, and then the whole thing took me about 18 months to get on to blockers, and that wait was just agonising, and I was very angry. So the Tavistock sessions were in Leeds, and even though my parents split up, some of them I'd go with both my mum and my dad, sometimes alone, sometimes with siblings, etc. So they'd ask a lot of questions, and I had to fill out a lot of questionnaires. Some of them were a bit weird, how do I feel about X body parts like my nose, whereas others were a little bit transphobic, some girls like to do this, do you have fun playing with other girls? So in the sessions there was a clinical psychologist and a family therapist, and when I got my diagnosis I was referred to the endocrinology in London, so that was to sort out the physical side of blockers. When I was referred to the endocrinologist, the closest clinic was in London, so I had to go there by train, and when I went, I had a chat with the endocrinologist. I had a bone density scan, because it can cause, blockers can cause osteoporosis, so my bones need to be monitored regularly, and that's why I'm not in, if you know me. And I had blood tests to make sure that my hormone levels are right and stuff. So when that was all sorted, the endocrinologist wrote a prescription which we had to take to the GP, which wrote it out properly, and then we took that to the chemist to actually get the blockers, and then I have to have that injected either every month or every 3 months by a nurse practitioner. And that all took another month or so. So I reckon it took about 18 months from me first coming out to get to blockers, but now obviously the waiting times are much longer, and I think it takes about 2 years to be seen by anybody. So as well as making me look about 13, the blockers I think they're known to have an effect on libido to reduce it, and I seem to be experiencing that. I think I'm asexual at the moment. I've been on them since quite young, so I don't know what it would have been like without them, but yeah. And also, apparently quite a common thing is depression. I was never diagnosed with depression, but I did experience a suicidal period. Yeah, and I didn't realise that it was associated with the blockers. But to deal with that, I just have a little bit of estrogen, and it's a tiny pill every day, and that has massively improved my mood in 3 months from starting to take it, so that is amazing. So I take blockers because it basically just stops puberty, so it just stops chest growth, changes in hips or anything like that, and stopping periods. So I need hormones in my system for bone density, so blockers are generally safe until 18, so I need to either come off blockers or go on testosterone before then. So obviously I'm going on testosterone very soon, so please subscribe to see that happen. I've got my endocrinologist appointment on Monday. Very exciting. Thank you for watching.